it's Spudnik and welcome back to another episode of Allcraft. And when I fly around here, I start to notice something. We've got dark elves over here, we've got the dwarves over here, we've got the elves right over here. But that's it. Until now, that is. I have been hard at work creating 3 new factions. Well, that were already here, but you know, they finally have homes now. That is 3 new places built. Let's go check them out. Here was the first one we saw. This is a human faction. They've got 2 main building styles, one with all the wood. They also have the stone, kelp, and concrete. way of building, which is interesting, with weird towers on top of them. And you can see they were probably the ones who built the iron farm as well. Speaking of big towers, though, what on earth? Somebody gave a zombie a pumpkin and a bunch of... Oh no. Nope. Stay away from me. Oh my word. Who tried to kill me? Wait a second. Liquid Beef told me that he had a zombie from Halloween, and he gave it a bunch of diamond stuff. And he said he let it loose in the shopping district. Why, I don't know, probably to hinder Rockport sales, but suddenly it shows up in a hole in the middle of my base. We'll get him back for this one, that's for sure. Anyway, I was talking about this. While I was building this, I tried to do something new, and that was, I never had connected textures. Whenever I went from one block to a different type of block, I always have a layer in between them. So you can see there's a layer between this stone and this kelp. They're not on the same layer right next to each other. And it got really interesting for this build. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 layers, and there's a layer between each. Like, it doesn't just suddenly turn from one into another one. And I actually really like how that turned out. I think that really improves how it looks. I also put in another big red tower. You can see we've had these two. And this one was made out of andesite instead of stone bricks because it was in the industrial district of our base. But this one was over here in this human district, and I wanted to make it fit in more over here, so I built a base right there. And actually made it skinnier, but for some reason that seems to make it look more solid and more structurally sound, which is very strange. I don't know if it's a choice of block or what, but for some reason making it thinner right at the base made it look more structurally sound. Anyway, right over here we have our second faction that we just added, and these are the Selkies. If you see, there's actually no way to get to there. There's all the way on the other side of this little river. There was a little peninsula here, and they built a wall on the other side, kind of like the wall we built over by the Watchtower. And the only way to get over there is to swim, which of course Selkies can do just fine, because they can turn into seals. I think I left some stuff behind. There's a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna want that later. So this is a little village here. Throughout all of these, I didn't really worry about the interior much, which is one of the things I hate about giant builds, is when people don't do the interior. So I will do the interior eventually, I hope. And maybe get some armor stands around here doing their daily stuff and all that. And for this one, I was kind of inspired by the lake town from The Hobbit, and I tried to build kind of like that, and basically just ended up using a ton of spruce. So yeah, it turned out interesting, kind of ties in with this. And then if you follow the road over here, we come to the final faction, and these were Vikings. This is the faction that I belong to as Spudnik II, and so does my father, Spudnik I, who is leader of this thing and sits on the big chair in the council room. Again, I haven't worked much on the interior in here. There's just a dirt floor, which is kind of the stuff you'd see in a Viking build anyway. There's no like packed dirt, and didn't really want to use clay, so I used some mushroom blocks, which kind of looks like the kind of packed dirt that they make their houses out of. And then they have the roofs. And you can see, in order to get into any of these, you have to walk down inside of them. And that's kind of how the Vikings made their houses. There are also a few sheds lying around. Again, nothing inside. I think you could do some pretty cool stuff with like weapons on racks. using the armor stand data pack. And apparently they're... Oh my word! Okay, so, note to self. Light up the builds, even if you don't work on the interior. And where did you come from? The problem with lighting up all of your base is that if you make something, like a house, and then don't light up inside the house, then stuff will spawn in there, for sure. There's a dark spot over here. Yeah, this is my tree farm where I grind down oak trees. And I always get stuck with weird stuff like this at the end from all the giant trees. And if we look down from our tower now, past all the clouds, and if we look down from our tower now, our base looks a lot more full on that side, and a lot bigger. I kind of wonder, so this is the giant map that I made of the server, and I just updated my base and the shopping district. And man, look at this, it's huge. So I've got the tower, which we started out with. The roads look bright red, which is kind of cool. You can see the square we have over in the corner. You can see the industrial area with our giant bee or honey jar that we made in the last episode. We've got a giant tree right here, and the new districts over here, which actually greatly increased the size of our base. I think it takes like 6 maps just to fit our whole bases. Anyway, our next order of business will be over by the Watchtower. Wait, what? Villager number 37, hail beef. Oh dear. And we got one of them, one of the llamas. We've even found our watchtower, huh? There we go. Perfect. That's taken care of. Man, they are making moves again. I'm very much nervous. Alright, our scout's still there. Should probably check to make sure everybody's alive. We had 3 people, right? Him. Didn't we have someone else? Maybe not. Yeah, there we go. That makes a nice touch. So that is one thing that we need to do. We need to fill up this place with people. We have the people. I think we're going to use phantoms. Maybe husks too, apparently. And they'll be the defenders of this port. You also need to work on the Spudnik. Feels like it's been forever since I was here. Probably because it has been. Sorry about that. But I think the other thing that we need to do is down here. This big hole right here. I think it's pretty obvious what this is. It's a sinkhole. This is pretty much naturally here. I edited some of the upper levels of these sandstone structures earlier in the series, but down here, this is all naturally here, and it looks like a sinkhole. Let's see how good I can do at making a sinkhole. So in the last episode, I made a pretty cliche argument about not letting others dictate your walk with God, but it was necessary to set up this conundrum, I think. This is why I think it's a pretty controversial issue, because of how we're supposed to pray. We've all seen those really good Christians, I say in air quotes, who go on praying for like 5-10 minutes. At least we think that's how long they're praying for, because we usually fall asleep in the middle of it, but they tell us, don't worry if your prayer is short and all that nonsense. The first point I want to make is they're actually not better than you for praying for so long. They're actually sinning. The Bible says in the book of Matthew not to go on babbling like the pagans do. It says not to go on praying in front of people for a long time. Period. And Jesus gives an example. A quick prayer with a fun rhyme and he's done. Now it's okay to pray for hours on end if you're by yourself or something. Later on, when Jesus is really worried about stuff that's going on, he prays for like a whole chapter of John. And that's fine. My second point is this. I've heard people say things along the lines of, Jesus prayed like this with these 4 points, and you need to pray for these 4 things and make sure it all balances out and stuff. No! Absolutely not. That's trash. Absolute shale. Don't try to regulate how you talk to God following a specific pattern. Just talk to God. I get really annoyed whenever I see things like the diagram, you know, where the P stands for this and the R stands for this and the A. Like, it's ridiculous. We need to just talk to God and not have to worry whether we're leaving out part of the formula or something. So just don't feel like you need to say anything in particular or something like that or follow a pattern. Just talk to Jesus. And so, yeah, we have life. Pretty much the only place with any life in this whole build over here. But, it's kind of how deserts work. Everything's really dead except for the one place where there's water. Also, this place is a little bit too much like a sinkhole for my liking. While I was building that, you might have noticed in the time lapse, sand just came cascading down. So, yeah, I was really nervous when I was building that tree that the whole side of the hill was just going to collapse on me. But in the end, I think it looks pretty cool. We have a little island in the middle. We have a little beach over here with some shulker boxes that I left behind. And vines dangling everywhere. Vines are particularly fun to make. I really enjoy that. And now I think the other thing we need to do over here is populate it with people, because right now there are only 3 of us. Me, myself, Sir Spudnik, Sir Bob up there, and Sir Slime, who he's still pointing at something. He keeps telling me there's something out there. What are you pointing at? Villager? Like we already shot him. What's your problem? I don't know. But we'll populate this with our phantoms here, and yeah, we keep getting spies. I don't know what to do about them. But before we do all of that, I got a lot of bees. I've got a lot of bees, and I want to make money off of this. I want to get some diamonds. There's a problem though. People only need to buy bees once, and then they can just breed them up. So I thought, what if there was some luck and chance involved? What I'm going to do is I'm going to sell beehives for 5 diamonds each. And that beehive will have either 0, 1, 2, or 3 bees in it. I have no idea. You'll have no idea when you're buying it. And yeah, it'll be great. It's all about squeezing as many diamonds out of people as we possibly can. Because to my knowledge, I'm the only one who's done the trek out tens of thousands of blocks. Actually, I think it was only about 6,000. Still, it was an adventure to get these bees. Okay, no, you need to die. While I'm here, I really want to check on this potion shop. No. See, he said he put prices in it, but there's no prices. I don't know, Liquid Beef said he put prices in there, but I didn't see any. And we have a honey block. Yep, I made the store into a giant honey block. And I'm explaining with signs, because we can dye them, and that's still kind of new, right? Hey, feeling lucky? Hop on in and try and buy some bees. Yes. Try. In these chests are several beehives, each is 5 diamonds. They may or may not have bees in them. Each hive costs 5 diamonds and has 0 to 3 bees inside. Rules. You must pay 5 diamonds per hive, whether it has bees or not. And you also cannot use advanced tooltips, because like if I use advanced tooltips, you can see some of them have tags, and then you'll know that those ones have bees in them. So let's see how many diamonds we can get out of this. I think now I need to work on repopulating my bees to either restock the shop if it needs it, which I doubt it will. There's enough bees in there to supply everyone on the server, unless their bees will die, which would be hilarious. But I will also need enough bees to make the farm. I did not have enough bees yet, and I also wanted to make this so I could maybe get some diamonds. So I will make the farm in a later episode, but not this one. Sorry about that. Anyway, let's fly back on over to the Watchtower and work on populating it with armor stands. I probably won't do a time lapse of this just because it wouldn't be very interesting. So I'll cut to when I'm finished. Good shot, Sir Mason. I think you got him. He looks dead. Alright. So I have added a few more guards. We've got some over there. Most of them are well armed. Looks like he's just coming back from a trip to the Nether. Which is actually interesting because I think I gas blew up the other side of that portal recently. Anyway, you got some guys up here among the tents. And we've also got some guys down here in the cities. This guy's one of my favorites. He's like leaning down and staring at everybody. It took me a while to get that so that both of his hands were on the railing. But I think he looks pretty cool. And then down here there's just a few other citizens doing their own thing, walking around. A lot of them are armed. Most of them are phantoms or husks or something along those lines. We've got someone fishing over here. Wow, you got quite a catch there. And then we got this guy who has like a sword leaning against there, and he's also got like a little knife. And he's also got a little like knife in his sheath. I don't know if I can get to an angle where I can show you that. It's a trick I learned from Zombie Cleo. I think she's the most famous user of this data pack anyway, so basically all of my tricks came from Zombie Cleo. But yeah, if you look around, you'll see a few people. We've also got some guys over here at the gate. Just some guards with some stuff. And apparently some lunch. Who are they? Staring at? Oh, looks like our scouts are coming back in from the wasteland. And that's nice. Yeah, so it's basically, business as usual up here.
Sir Spudnik. Sir Spudnik.
What? Sir Dave? Yes?
It's James, sir.
Sir James, sorry. Yeah?
You gotta come see this. Up on the tower.
Right. Lead the way. Right, Sir James, what's this all about? Why am I... What do I need to see?
Out there, on the horizon.
Up there? Right, hold up. Let me, just... Oh, no.